Just 3 days removed from their first ever pitching in Northern Premier League Midlands match, Coventry Sphinx are back in action with a midweek trip to Gresley. The visitors put on a gutsy display in their opening day draw at home to Quorn. But can they go one better against a Gresley side who narrowly avoided relegation last year and look to avoid a nervy spring this time around? Join us for the best of the action on Coventry Sphinx YouTube channel with your commentator Liam Cook. Coventry Sphinx arrive at the Moat Ground with 3 injury absentees. Jamie Draper and James Brighton both miss out on the opening day draw, while Jordan Hayward limped off the field in the first half with a groin strain. His replacement at left back, Callum Martin, gets the nod from the start tonight. Luke Downs is drafted in to midfield with Max Johnson dropping to the bench. Saturday's goal scorer and man of the match, Callum Whiteside, retains his place in defence. Gresley stick with the same 11 from the narrow defeat to Cambridge City at the weekend. The Moat men stick with Lewis Fenny. Between the sticks, Mason Frizzell captains the side from centre-back alongside Albert Lansdowne. Stephen Hart needs no introduction. The veteran leads the front line, flanked by Kane Lee. Riley Devoyle and Tyler Donaldson are amongst the substitutes. Welcome one and all to another evening of pitching in Northern Premier League football. It's Gresley Rovers versus Coventry Sphinx here on the Coventry Sphinx YouTube channel. Liam Cook with you for the entirety of tonight's proceedings. Let's get you into the team news, kicking off with our hosts of Gresley Rovers, starting for the Moat men today. Number 1, Lewis Fenny. Number 2, George Clark. Number 3, Dexter Dudley O'Toole. Number 4, Jaden Cottrell. Number 5, Mason Frizzell. Number 6, Albert Lansdowne. Number 7, Bradley Maslin-Jones. Number 8, Lewis Belgrave. Number 9, Kane Lee. 10, Stephen Hart. And number 11, James Tagg. And for Coventry Sphinx, number 1, Keelan Fallows. Number 2, Joe Percy. 3, Callum Martin. 4, Luke Downs. Number 5, Lewis Guest. 6, Callum Whiteside. Number 7, that is Dylan Parker. Number 8, the captain, Callum Woodward. Number 9, Matty Shipman. 10, Kyle Carey. And number 11, Jack Downs. Substitutes for the Sky Blues and Whites. Number 12, Max Johnson. Number 14, Dawid Peblinski. Number 15, Sam Ellis. 16, Sam Jackson. And 17, Antonio Cristofaro. Sphinx looking for their first victory of the season in all competitions. They've lost one, they've drawn one. Surely the next logical step is the 3 points. The referee checking that we're good to go. The linesman having a look at the goals. We hope to see them bulge quite a few times tonight. We hope you're ready, we're ready. The action about to begin. And here we go. The action officially underway in the pitching in Northern Premier League Midlands. Coventry Sphinx kicking from left to right in their usual strip of sky blue and white. And Gresley in red with white lining. And an early burst down the left-hand side from Kyle Carey. Ambitious cross with Matty Shipman a good few yards behind it. Simple gather from Lewis Fenny. Well down to Frizzell. Launched up the right-hand side, flicked on with the head of James Tagg. Sent back where it came from by Guest. Jack Downs on the ball now for the Sphinx. Hook left by Martin. His first start of the season. And nervy head back to the goalkeeper by Frizzell. It's in the hands of Fenny. Low setting sun causing a few problems with the Coventry Sphinx camera at the moment. Belgrave. And to Stephen Hart, the veteran striker. Dudley O'Toole. Squares it. Gresley looking to break down their opposition early. Belgrave. To James Tagg. Now across the penalty area, drilled away. Nice with Carey. They send Shipman through. Shipman will get there ahead of the skipper, Frizzell. But Frizzell gets enough on it to shepherd it back to Fenny. Kick one taken to George Clark. Clark under pressure and bundled over from behind by Kyle Carey. Gresley manager Carl Abbott watching on. You can see his side wrap up the victory. Clark. Now Frizzell, he's got Lansdowne alongside. Tracks back to Fenny. Cottrell. He was looking for Fenny, but it was a bit too powerful for the number one to control. It's safely back with Frizzell. Maslin Jones the target. Challenge from behind by Martin. Carey. Hand on the shoulder from George Clark. Referee says nothing doing. Albert Lansdowne. Dexter Dudley O'Toole. Now with Hart. Pirouettes away from the challenge. Dinks it up the left-hand side, and Joe Percy had to be certain on that one. Hooks it out on this near side with Belgrave trying to get on the end of it. Come in. Throw towards the near post and nodded out. Joe Percy taking no risks. I'm just noticing from behind the goal, we've actually got a photographer behind the perimeter fence of the moat ground. It's a long one towards the far post. Back into the danger zone and volleyed into relative safety by Kyle Carey. Parker tried to get to the seconds first, but it's front towards the left-hand side of the penalty area. And Percy muscles Bradley Maslin Jones off the ball, and it's out for a goal kick. Highlights of tonight's match will be available tomorrow evening here on the Coventry Sphinx YouTube channel. Make sure to subscribe for exclusive interviews, highlights, commentaries and features throughout the season. Shipman gets his head on Fallow's kick. Parker out muscled and out left by Frizzell. Aimless ball down the left wing from Gresley Rovers, and that's going to be a simple one for Whiteside to see out, and Fallows will get us underway once again. 5 minutes gone at the moat ground. Gresley Rovers 0, Coventry Sphinx 0. Sphinx looking to build on a strong performance against Quorn at Sphinx Drive on Saturday. It was a fair result, a 1-1, but of course they did seem to have the ball over the line right at the end, although the goal wasn't given. And check out the highlights for visual proof on that one. Martin had to get there first ahead of the number 7, Maslin Jones, and did. Bounces into touching that far side, just into Gresley territory. Martin with ball in hand. Carey offering himself, but it's now with Jack Downs. Shipman. Carey charges down the attempted clearance. Parker scoops it up. Back heel over towards Callum Woodward, but it's picked up on the edge of the area by Kyle Carey. Can Carey get it in? Pulls it back. Carey squares it. Jack Downs rolls away from number 11, but he is able to find it again. An ambitious effort, that one from Joe Percy. Well held by Fenny. Launched upfield to Dudley O'Toole. Dexter Dudley O'Toole marching along the left. Low ball to Hart, cannons off his leg and collected by Percy, who's looking for Woodward up line. Return to Hart by Lansdowne. But poor control on this near side rod off the shin of Dexter Dudley O'Toole. Throw in to the visitors. Percy. But holding there in the midfield, referee says nothing doing. Maslin Jones. The centre back and captain, Frizzell. Put it into the Sphinx final third, swing by Martin. Guess mops it up as it skied and landed. And the attempted clearance from Downs, charged down by Maslin Jones. That'll be a throw deep into Sphinx's backyard. Sphinx going uphill in this first half. A slight gradient. No, just got confirmation that I haven't won the competition. Dudley Jones is through the centre circle now with Belgrave. Dispossessed by Carey. Dylan Parker turns away from the challenge of Dudley. Carey steadying himself for the strike perhaps. Carey takes aim. Oh, and the Fenny looked like it was a simple gather for the Gresley number 9, but it slipped out of his gloves like someone had put clover on the ball. He was bringing it under control and no harm done for the home side, but a nervy moment for the former Boldmere St Michael's shot stopper. Thumped up and has he kept that one in? He has. Brilliant work on Shudder. Number 11's going head to head as Tag make the run down the right hand side to just keep it within play. But now Jack Downs has found Shipman in the centre circle, and Shipman is on a one-man mission. Gets the free kick out of it as well. A little bit too much hassling and harrying from Mason Frizzell, the captain for Gresley Rovers. Woodward takes it quickly, looking for Carey, but Fenny races off his line. Clark. Hart is making the run. Couldn't find a route past Martin. Now Jack Downs should be able to play a higher line this afternoon than he did on Saturday with Woodward and Luke Downs in the squad tonight. Shipman playing out wide with Parker in a more central location. Carey has to slide in to keep it in Spinks' hands or feet. Downs plays a 1-2 with Joe Percy. Space in the middle to work with for Callum Woodward. Loops it over down the right-hand side, but Percy is going to get that one. And it is into touch for a goal kick. Trying to keep Hart as far away from the goal as they can, and they shepherd him into touch in front of the dugout to our left. Maslin Jones dispossessed by Downs. Goes down as he gets the ball away, but does find Percy. Woodward driving onto it from Shipman, lunges in from behind, a little bit too enthusiastic in trying to get that one back. Maslin Jones. Much down the right. Clark tries in vain to keep up. Out of play for a throw, level with the Sphinx penalty area to the away side. Clark knocks the frame back where it came from. Hart can only find Downs. Frizzell, bit of head tennis going on here. Who can bring it down? It's Callum Woodward who swiped it up to Carey. Kyle Carey. Parker was the intended recipient of that through ball, but intercepted by Dudley O'Toole. Maslin Jones to Clark. Switching the play over to Dudley O'Toole again. He's got Hart up with him. Hart wants it on the left, but Dudley O'Toole slipped it in. Belgrave couldn't bring it to feet in a promising position on the edge of the area. Downs scoops it up. Luke Downs, that is. Here's Jack Downs. Jack Downs strolling forward towards the Gresley net. Give and go with Shipman. And no choice for the number 7 just to boot it out on that far side. For it to come. Didn't reach Guest. Will reach Downs. Returns to sender. Percy delivery. Shipman's there. Collected by Parker on this near side. Trying to get the ball back in to the penalty area, but Belgrave brings it back for the Moatmen. Hart. Drilled into touch by Callum Whiteside. No nonsense defending, preventing the counter. Shipman. I was trying to play it back to Parker, didn't have the legs on it. Woodward hooks it away. Shipman couldn't bring it down. Oh, and it rolls off the boots of Dudley O'Toole, just when it looked like Gresley had mopped it up. And Shipman bundles over the defender. Much like Saturday, a very even encounter. Sphinx adapting to their new league well. First time they've ever played at Step 4 this season. Maslin Jones. Hart controls well on the edge of the air. Can he turn and shoot? He can. Deflection. Took the spin and the pace off the ball. And Keenan Fallows gathers gratefully. Fallows taking his time. Shipman the target. Beaten mid-air by Jaden Cottrell. But Percy first in the seconds. Shipman trying to get on the ball. And the captain's right over it, Frizzell. Matty Shipman squares, trying to find Parker, but it was Lansdowne blocking his path. Battle in the corner. And the defender can only find Parker who pirouettes, looking for Woodward, but collected by the Gresley defender. And thumped clear by James Tagg. And just when Kane Lee got the ball to his feet, a couple of yards outside the penalty area, collision with Callum Martin. Free kick to the Sphinx. Remains scoreless at the Moat Ground. Fellows flicks off the head of Carey, only out for a goal kick. You see what he's trying to do, trying to set Shipman up on the run. From the goal kick, Gresley to get on the front foot once more with Frizzell. Lansdowne lets it run back to Fenny. Back with Frizzell. Clark slices across to his midfield teammate. And now the chance to burst on for James Tagland to slip it through. Lee's there, deflected back to Tag. A crucial lunge in from Percy, preventing it from reaching Lewis Belgrave. Woodward on the slide. Sphinx having to work extra hard to maintain possession. Scintillating pace from Carey. Oh, it stumbled over himself. A real shame. Carey dusts himself off. Gets back in the action. Kane Lee just into touch. Challenge from Guest from behind. He feels that Guest got over him and nodded it out. Throw taken by Martin. Shipman ducked a little too early there, but catches out Lansdowne, who couldn't control after another throw, another 15 yards further upfield. Martin. Oh, straight past Shipman, goal kick it will be for Gresley Rovers. Not too much in the way of goal mouth action in the opening 15 minutes or so. Lansdowne. Aslan Jones. First line ball over to Clark. Misplaced ball intercepted by Kyle Carey in a dangerous position. Now Jack Downs, we know he can hit them. Returns to Carey. Takes on Clark. He got past him but couldn't take the ball with him. Greg Clark. Behind to Meslin Jones. Sees Dudley O'Toole on the far side, looks for him, and what a link that was from Percy. Gets his head on it. Can Parker get to the loose ball? Yes, he can. And he's got Percy making the overlap. Parker goes for the cross. Shipman's there, just too high for Shipman, but Carey all alone on the far side. Now it's Carey's ball towards Shipman again, and again too high into the hands of Fenny. Sphinx have had just about more of the attacking play. It has been close. I think they're just edging at the moment. Lee up for it. Was that a collision with Lewis? Guessed it was, and he's gone down holding his head. Of course, it is a head injury. The referee has to stop play. He's not given the free kick, crucially. And of course, you can't be too careful in this day and age of head injuries. And it looked to be a heavy one for Kane Lee. Guest helps him to his feet. And it will be a drop ball. No foul given. Well, there's no Sphinx action this Saturday, unfortunately. The early exit in the FA Cup put pay to that. So next time we're on air is this time next week with a home game against Sporting Cowser. I wish it was an away game. We could do with a good curry. Probably the best away ground for food I've ever experienced. Guest. Deft touch on to Dylan Parker. Shipman. Too powerful on the return for Parker. That final ball just needs to be a little bit lighter. Dudley O'Toole. It's over Hart and onto the grateful boots of Whiteside. Martin sticks his laces through that one, hoping Shipman can get there. Well, he might have done if it wasn't for the defending of Jaden Cottrell standing firm against the Sphinx number 9, their main goal threat this season. Lansdowne receives from Frizzell. Belgrave dropping deep. Hooks it up the right. Bradley Maslin-Jones. But putting his head into the danger zone there was Callum Martin nodding it down. Risking a high boot. Parker. Now Percy. Shipman looking forward, but again beaten to the punch. Cottrell, overhead kick, collected by Downs. Parker again on the right flank. Return to Jack Downs, but sticking a boot out is Belgrave. Hart wrestling with Jack Downs. This is a battle. This is a real battle. And it's one that Sphinx have won, even with Gresley having an extra man. The final touch coming of Lewis Belgrave, who looked to mop up the remains. Percy sizing up his options. There it goes. Shipman up. There's Cottrell got his bonce on that one. And off balance, the number 11 tack and only fire it into the crowd here at the Moat Ground. Trying to play a long one down the left-hand side, threading it through for Kane Lee. Percy, as the Gresley players get some last-minute instructions. Carey the intended target, but Frizzell sticking his nuts in there. Counter is countered by Callum Martin. Carey slotting it at left back while Martin goes further afield. Guest. Fenny ordering his players to move out. Whiteside, whose goal secured a point for Sphinx on Saturday, loops it up looking for Shipman. Headed down by Cottrell. Lansdowne. Dudley O'Toole looking to thread it through for Lee again, but he couldn't turn and race onto the loose ball. It's safely back with Fallows. About 20 minutes gone, it's still scoreless. Woodward nods it up from the kick. Where will it land? It lands on the boot of Stephen Hart. That's where you don't want it to land, but Luke Downs trying to clear, smacks it off Hart again. Hart toe pokes it on for Kane Lee to chase. Whiteside has to clear up line, but again, it's only as far as Stephen Hart, but this time they do get it away. Luke Downs finishing the job onto the head of Matty Shipman. Dexter Dudley O'Toole gets there again. Shipman has not had a sniff in this game. They know where the danger lies, Gresley, and they're doing their best to mark him out of the game. Drones from the Gresley crowd as Whiteside with a simple interception from the misplaced pass. Carey looking for the run of Shipman, but again he's going to lose that battle. Cottrell forced out wide. Dinks it up to Belgrave. He's got Percy looking menacingly behind him. Cottrell, good distance on that one, but Luke Downs is the grateful recipient. Kyle Carey setting himself with a shot. The long range for tackling, maybe the best ever. He put it into the air for Callum Martin. He was a couple of paces behind it, and Fenny first to it. Clark. That's with Maslin-Jones. Lansdowne looking left. Floated over Shipman and to Dexter Dudley O'Toole, and a brilliant slide in by Percy to block the attempted pass. It bounces onto the far side of the field where Clark hooks it over Carey. Woodward there to help his teammate out. Carey cushions it down for Parker. Shipman in the area, good first touch, was it? No, just a tad too powerful. And Fenny claims again. Just trying to calm things down at the back. They've been under some rather relentless Sphinx pressure, but they've dealt with it well. Cottrell, closed down by Shipman, gets away just in time. Maslin Jones. Target is Lee. That little nick from behind from Whiteside stopped him from latching onto the through ball, but Hart's got on the end of it now. Stephen Hart goes for it himself. May as well have a go. Stuck his laces through it, but didn't get the cleanest of contact. Scuffs it just wide of the side netting. Well, some breaking news if you're interested on the transfer side of things. Harry Maguire's proposed move to West Ham United is off. Back to what's going on tonight. Bit of head tense going on in the midfield. Who can bring it down? Lansdowne off the head. Hart off the head. Onto the chest of Whiteside and back onto the head of Whiteside. Downs volleys it on. Did Rubber get something on that? May have just took the spin off it for Shipman. And the return ball for Callum Woodward. Parker looking to hook it over the back line. Didn't quite fall for him. And it is still a score draw after around 25 minutes. Down safely back with Keelan Fallows, put under pressure by Kane Lee. Rolled back out to Downs, anchoring midfield. High ball to Carey. Holds off Clark. To get a bit of a pull on the arm, referee says no foul. As Gresley are back in possession. Marching along the left into Sphinx territory. Stephen Hart. Back into the Gresley half with Cottrell. Patient play from Gresley. They don't want to leave themselves exposed. Cottrell. Hart being held from behind, cushions it down for Lewis Belgrave. Another chance to shoot for Maslin Jones. Couldn't keep it down. Fallows sticking his arm in the air of hope of getting a touch on it. He didn't need to. Keelan Fallows, the new Sphinx #1. Down the centre of the park it goes. Shipman up for it. I think he won that header, but the seconds will fall for Bradley Maslin Jones. And bit of pinball going on there. The ball from Whiteside sent up the stand roof, then onto the roof of the dugout via a wheelbarrow. Albert Lansdowne. Headed back where it came from by Whiteside. Tag. Stephen Hart felt he was impeded by Callum Whiteside, but the danger not over yet for Coventry Sphinx. James Tagg blocked off by Percy. Down line with Dexter Dudley O'Toole. Lansdowne lets it run. Frizzell. Lee cushions it back for Clark. Now Belgrave and Sphinx smelling blood in the water, forcing Gresley back to their own doorstep. But they'll push on again with Cottrell. Hart being held, but cushions it to Belgrave. Lewis Belgrave looking for the ball in. And a chance to strike for Maslin Jones. Great touch. Can't get past the defender. Martin tries to hold him off. Brilliant save. Stings the gloves of Keelan Fallows. Trying to squeeze it in at the near post. Fallows equal to it. And now Shipman. Sandwich between Dudley O'Toole and Frizzell, and somehow has got the throw out of it. Between a rock and a hard place, Matty Shipman stood firm. And halfway into Gresley turf, the Sphinx have a throw. After they came so close to going behind at the moat ground. Percy to Jack Downs, runs into Tag. And the referee says free kick. Downs a little too enthusiastic, trying to find a route around the Gresley number 11. thumps the ball away after the attempted long ball from Frizzell and straight back to Fenny, the veteran number 1, formerly of Boldmere St Michael's. And Frizzell nearly caught in position by Luke Downs, but finds help. Cottrell. Lansdowne. Finds limited options and plays it behind a Cottrell. A little more open ground for Frizzell. Lansdowne into Sphinx turf. Long range cross headed only as far as the number 8 for Gresley. Sphinx not getting this one as clear as they would have liked. It's back into the midfield with Bradley Maslin-Jones. Shoves Downs aside, who leaves one in him as a little parting gift. Dudley O'Toole trying to return the ball to Jaden Cottrell, but it was behind the number 4. Had to peg back to mop it up. Caneley. For the 1-2 with Clark, the 2 cans with the back of Kyle Carey. And Carey in from the side. Snatches the ball from under Clark's nose. Carey turns away from Lansdowne. Now looking to send Parker on his way. Down the left-hand side, gets there ahead of Clark. But Clark, first to the seconds. Can he shepherd it into touch? He does, and it's a goal kick. Parker is sure they got a touch on the way through from the number 2. But the referee doesn't agree. Hands down. End-to-end stop, but still no score at the Moat Grounds. The pitching in Northern Premier League Midlands. Sphinx in their first season at Step 4. Gresley narrowly avoiding dropping out of the division last year, finishing just 1 place above the dreaded drop zone. The chase is on between Percy and Dudley O'Toole. Percy's won that one. Heads up. Thankfully, the ball bounces off the floodlight post to avoid going into the crowd. Sphinx deal with that danger, emphatically drilled away by Whiteside. Heading towards half-time here on the Coventry Sphinx YouTube channel. We will be going off air for around 10 minutes at half-time for a quick drinks break. So get back here for around 8:45. Hopeful ball for lead down the right from Gresley, nothing doing. Shielded into touch level with their own penalty area by Sphinx left back Callum Martin. In for the injured Jordan Hayward, who's out with a groin strain. We're hearing he'll be out for a couple of weeks after leaving the field early on Saturday. Well, a short delay here as the linesman's having to tie his boots up. Well, I doubt the referee's going to give him a yellow card for holding up play. Reminder, the next time we're on air, next Tuesday, at home to Sporting Calcer. Same kickoff time, 7:45. No action this Saturday with the preliminary qualification round of the FA Cup taking place. Sphinx's journey ending last week at Starport. Who incidentally were beaten convincingly 7-1 last night by Studley. Launched in by Lansdowne. Cushioned header, and it looked like it was set up beautifully for Lewis Belgrave. A defender's finish from the midfielder, I think we can call that. Slices to the left of his intended target. We do want to say a massive thank you to everyone here at Gresley for their warm welcome this evening. We actually return the favour at the Sphinx Industrial Supplies Arena later in the year. Lots of new grounds, new teams, new opposition to look forward to this season. This is one of them for myself. I've never been to the Moat Ground before. So really enjoying my experience so far. I'd enjoy it a lot more if Sphinx can get ahead. But it has been a real scrap between the Moatmen and the Spunkers. Bradley Maslin-Jones down line with George Clark. Albert Lansdowne. With Frizzell, the captain, driving forward. Oh, and Maslin Jones looked to let it run for Hart, but it couldn't find a way through the sky blue wall in front of Fallow's goal. The counter is on. Jack Downs. Kyle Care. Remember, Sphinx heading uphill in the first half. Could put them at a slight disadvantage. And Sphinx thought they got a throw there as the interception was made by Frizzell, who hooked it out, but the deflection came off Matty Shipman, I believe. Sorry, it was Jack Downs the ball came off. And right in their own corner on the right side, Gresley have the throw. They can ill afford to give it away here. And Clark knows that. He's telling his teammates, crowd in, come closer. And it is onto the head of Martin. Flicked on by Parker. Matty Shipman! And just like that, Coventry Sphinx take the lead. Error capitalised on. Matty Shipman smelling blood in the water. And struck as soon as the ball came anywhere near him. That lethal boot. Sliding it past Finney. He's had to wait for his opportunities this season, has Shippo, but when they arrived, he made no mistake. Matty Shipman off the mark for Coventry Sphinx, and I dare say that won't be his only goal of the season. Gresley Rovers 0, Coventry Sphinx 1. Confirmation of the goal, the 38th minute from our stadium announcer here. Matty Shipman with his first goal of the season, his third appearance. He wasn't going to wait much longer. Gresley have now got a job on their hands. They're knocking on the Sphinx door. Belgrave looking for tag. Lunging by Belgrave to try and get it away from Parker. He did momentarily, but Parker wrapping his leg around Belgrave and pulling it out on that far side. And Sphinx have got to get everyone back now to avoid a repeat of Saturday. They scored the opening goal through Callum Whiteside late in the first half, but within 30 seconds of the restart, it was all level after Corn pulled one back. Every Sphinx player in that penalty area. They can't afford to concede here. Headed up by Martin. Belgrave and volleyed high into the sky by Woodward. Headed by Clark. But Belgrave loses out to Shipman. And he's got options on the right. Stumbles over the challenge of Clark. Got allowing Belgrave to sweep it and take it. And Belgrave will find Fenny. And Gresley have got to try and cool their heads now. Sphinx's patience has paid off. And they lead by 1-0, but this is far from over. It's been a very competitive evening. It's a very competitive league. There's no easy games, as John Winwood said on Saturday. Kane Lee trapped in the corner. Downline to Belgrave. Challenging the side by Parker. Takes it out for a throw, but whose throw is it? It's a Sphinx throw. Well, first, Sphinx were furious that they thought it was given against them. Then it was Gresley's turn to look unhappy as it was given against them. Obviously a very tight call. It had to be. The linesman was right underneath it. He's given it in favour of the Blues. Into the last 5 minutes of the first half. Downs brings down the header from the throw. Woodward racing up with every ounce of speed he's got. It wasn't enough. He does force the clearance from Frizzell that hits the netting on the side of the pitch over the old Mill graphics and science stand. That's a mouthful for any commentator. The Sphinx Army in front of us, happy with what they've seen so far. And the Gresley faithful know their team are not out of it yet. Martin. Shipman, can't find it for Callum Martin. Gresley can't clear. Downs. Clark nodded up. Should be an unchallenged header for Maslin Jones, it is. Now Belgrave fronting it down the left. Garkay with a slide, but still took away by Dudley O'Toole. Here's Stephen Hart, back to Dexter Dudley O'Toole. And Joe Percy slides in and volleys it out on the slide, on this near side, throwing level with their own penalty area for Sphinx to defend. Why do the first halves always get good just before half-time? You want more and more of this. Actually, you want another 45 minutes of this. But with less than 3 minutes to go, we've got to savour it because half-time is coming. And so is a corner. Who got a final touch on that? I think it may have been Callum Martin. So it will be a corner to come in from the left-hand side. Bradley Maslin-Jones over it towards that far post. Guest up for it, and Guest nudges it over the line. And to prevent Dexter Dudley O'Toole from whipping it back into the danger zone. So it's a reverse routine now for Gresley, taking from the right side of the field. Stephen Hart not with that much room to manoeuvre on that far side, but he gets enough power on the delivery. I'll just skim the head, I think, of Dexter Dudley O'Toole in prime heading range. It's out on the opposite side for a Gresley throw level with the penalty area. And again, I don't think the linesman was too sure, but it's hooked back in. And it would have worked as a conversion in rugby for James Tagg, but it won't fly with goals here. Plenty of power, maybe too much for the Gresley number 11. And the home side remain behind in the dying embers of the opening period. Sphinx crowding on this near side, waiting for Fallow's delivery. Gary flicks on. Woodman, Shipman. Oh, and thank you to the young lads in front of us for making sure the ball didn't land on the laptop. We need to take out equipment insurance this season. Some of the wayward balls that we've had. And they seem to be a bit more powerful than the ones in the UCL too. Collision with Woodward and Lansdowne there. I think Lansdowne got caught on the head by a failing Woodward arm. It was just behind the floodlight pylon there. It was a little difficult to see. I think we're about into the final minutes of normal time. Again, we are going off air at the break for a quick drinks break, so we'll be back at around 8:45 for the exciting conclusion of what has been a very competitive afternoon, or evening of football, I should say, so far at the Moat Ground. Cottrell plays a 1-2. The 2 is up for Maslin-Jones. Carry back in possession, Luke Downs. Now Jack Downs tripped on the standing challenge from Belgrave, and as you can probably expect, Sphinx in no rush to take this. They want to get into the break in front. White side. Drifting to the right of the field, Woodward up for it, nodded down by Dudley O'Toole. Slide by Woodward, who got the final touch. It was deflected out off the knee of James Tagg, who went to claim the ball for the throw and turned around to see the flag pointing the other way. Percy. Options in there, and Whiteside, sorry, Shipman I should say, shoving Cottrell aside. Free kick given in favour of Gresley in their own penalty area. Could be one more opportunity here if anyone wants to take it quickly. Fenny down the centre of the park. Guest nods it back. Belgrave onto the head of Guest again, and the overhead kick from Woodward. They thought kind of over Carl Carey here. He went over the line, but Carey tried in vain to keep it in. Lansdowne onto the chest of Whiteside, had plenty of distance on it, and Whiteside's ball nearly straight into the crowd, bounces off the roof stand pylon, but that's half time here at the Moat Ground. Handshakes between Woodward and Shipman for a job well done in the first half, but 45 minutes still to come in the Pitching in Northern Premier League Midlands. And what a second half we are in store for. Half-time score, Gresley Rovers 0, Coventry Sphinx 1. And we're back live for the second half between Coventry Sphinx and Gresley Rovers. Kick-off in just a couple of seconds. We can see no changes at the break. So let's get the action started once again. Half-time score, Gresley Rovers 0, Coventry Sphinx 1. Matty Shipman's goal, all that separates the sides at the moment. Here we go, second half officially underway here at the Moat Ground. Sphinx now kicking from right to left in front of the Coventry Sphinx camera. Now for an early throw in the midfield, on this near side. Clark. Good time towards Hart. And nodded into touch by Callum Whiteside, last week's man of the match. Hoofed up by Lansdowne. And across the penalty area by Hart. I think a tag, but Luke Downs was there to pick up the pieces as far as Cottrell. Clark, high, lofted ball, up the right flank. Kane Lee, shielded from the ball by Callum Martin. Guest, I think, wanted to get a bit more distance on that one, but it's out of play, level with the penalty area, coming in from the right side for the hosts. Short one is being mauled over with Clark in support, but I think Lansdowne's got to go for a long-range throw. In it goes, mid-air. Matty Shipman getting there ahead of the captain, Fazell. Hook back in. Dudley was there as far as Belgrade. And Jack Downs as well to drill it away. Towards the halfway line. Cottrell. Clark closed out swiftly by Parker. Had to get that one away in time and did. Tag. Not the first touch on it, but the attention he got from Martin. I think he took his eye off the ball and he stumbled over. And now Martin gives chase to Woodward's ball down the left-hand side. Clark coming across the cover in, puts the ball in, and Fenny had to get there ahead of Dylan Parker, and he had to get it right. Any touch on Parker, you would assume the number 7 would go down, but Fenny got it spot on. Belgrade. Dexter Dudley O'Toole. Plays a 1-2 with Fizell, the captain. Lee beaten to the punch by Joe Percy, who's racing upfield, waiting for Jack Downs to deliver. Downs to Shipman, flicked on, flicked into touch by Matty Shipman, hoping to match the overlap of Percy. Very excitable crowd here at Gresley Rovers. Lots of young supporters wanting autographs off their players. It's very refreshing to see. Great run, this is from Shipman, and Parker is free in the area. Parker could and maybe should have been 2-0. Punted it towards the net. But too much height from the young striker who did so well in the summer months. Well, Sphinx rue that missed opportunity. Guest got his head alongside the head of Hart, and not only as far as Tag. Tag in, handball claims, referee says no as Lee plays it across to Maslin Jones. The was by the side, not an awful lot the Sphinx man could do. Squared and Lansdowne on the volley, that would have been a spectacular goal. And it bounces harmlessly wide. Highlights of tonight's match will be on the Coventry Sphinx YouTube channel exclusively tomorrow night. And unfortunately, commentators and editors do need sleep. It's been a long day. Got to go over the head of Shipman, but Kyle Carey pirouettes away from Clark, using his fancy feet to try and create some separation, but couldn't. Clark equal to him. But Carey is not going to give up on this one. Launched away by Belgrade. As he told, he has time to collect the loose ball. Plenty of height, plenty of distance towards the head of Shipman. It's knotted up by Cottrell. Clark headed to Belgrade, the big number 8. Lansdowne. Gresley going to get a foothold back in this match. Curling ball by Belgrade, intercepted beautifully by Martin. With the ball behind Kyle Carey. And sent back where it came from by Frizzell. Woodward up, header by Martin. Jack Downs on the volley. With the head of Clark. Kyle Carey stumbles to the ground with the challenge of Lansdowne. He's straight back on his feet, chasing Gresley down. He's got a couple of old friends on the Grizzly bench to contend with, in Riley DeWood and Tyler Donaldson. They could yet be brought on in the second half. Cottrell. His path blocked down the left by Matty Shipman. Through the centre circle comes Albert Lansdowne. Looking to match the run of Dudley O'Toole. O'Toole taps it past Percy, but Whiteside launches it into relative safety, just shy of the halfway line. Frizzell to Bradley Maslin-Jones. Tack. Back into the centre circle with Lansdowne. Sphinx stacking everyone back. Are they happy with a 1-0 lead? It's a long time to hold on. Cottrell stumbles past the challenger Parker. I was looking for Hart, but Whiteside beat him to it. And a foul on, I think it was a foul on Luke Downs there. He tried to ensure that Whiteside could get to the seconds. Another niggly foul's been given today. For Carey, it's over Carey's head, but can he beat Clark to the seconds? High into the night sky by George Clark. Brilliant control, first time by Tack. And into touch. Ball intended for Kane Lee, who's taking the ball with him there as Sphinx are ready for the throw. 5 yards into their own turf, in the hands of Callum Martin. There it goes. Shipman takes it on with Parker, but Parker clearly pushing Clark in the back to try and retain that ball. Free kick, 3 yards outside their own box to the right for Gresley. 7 minutes of second half action have elapsed. Gresley Rovers 0, Coventry Sphinx 1. The current score. Sphinx looking for their first victory of the season in their third attempt. 1 defeat in the FA Cup, 1 draw in the league. Can they make it one of each tonight? Control, holding his guns. Plays at 1-2 with Belgrade. Had to beat Downs with pace and did. Looking to get the return from Dudley O'Toole, but it's cut out by Joe Percy. Quick thinking from the right back. Downs. He's got the 2 strikers to deal with and has to play it behind to Callum Martin on the left of defence, and his clearance is charged down by Maslin-Jones. Out for another Sphinx throw. Knocking on the door of their own penalty area, and they're going to try and get this clear. It was a Gresley throw which ended up causing so much problems for themselves. And Sphinx hoping to get themselves a second goal with their own throw. They won't do it yet. Carey caught ball on his feet. He's with Maslin-Jones. Canely. And tripped over the extended leg of Kyle Carey. Free kick just in front of the Sphinx camera. Lansdowne ready to launch it into the danger zone. Clark thought about helping out, but he's going to get in and around that box. We also need bodies in there. Lansdowne, towering header. Try and get some separation. Sphinx can begin the counter with Carey. Skips away from the challenge on the slide. I think Clark lunged in there and punted over the goal by Lansdowne. He didn't get the ball, Clark, but he did curtail the move as Carey had to leap over and the ball got away. And when Carey gets going, it's very hard to stop him. Still over half an hour's worth of action left in the pitching in Northern Premier League Midlands. Fallows going to keep his first Coventry Sphinx clean sheet. Carey and Shipman lurking menacingly again, pulls it back for Woodward and slid into touch by Frizzell. He knew what awaited behind him if the ball went through. And Woodward will take the corner from the right side. Martin and Percy back, everyone else is waiting in or around that penalty area, hoping to get the vital touch, and it's Shipman's up there, and it's nodded over his own net. I think it was Frizzell again. And it'll be a corner from the opposite end. Different wing, same taker, Callum Woodward. Can Sphinx hit the double and extend their advantage? Woodward towards that near post. Headed back where it came from. Woodward on the volley, stabs it back into the area. Guest is up there with a foul by Lewis Guest. Hand in the back of the defender in the penalty area. And we could be set for some substitutions here. Carl Abbott discussing matters. We have members of the Gresley bench. We see Tyler Donaldson going for a warm-up. Gresley having a hard time getting out of their own back garden here. Sphinx not letting them escape their final third. Cottrell. Wants a handle for Dudley O'Toole. Cottrell again, swaps wings. And finds Frizzell. Now Gresley can get cooking. Mason Frizzell, the captain. Maslin Jones. Back to Frizzell. Lovely give and go football down the right hand side, squared by Frizzell, and a chance to shoot now for tag, and a crucial intervention from Dylan Parker, snatching the ball away right when the Gresley man was looking to pull the trigger. Woodward tries to float it over the Gresley back line for the counter, which he does, but couldn't reach Matty Shipman. Back with Fenny, and Gresley regroup again at the back. Frizzell, the captain. Strolling through and challenged midfield, and then Luke Downs steps in on the challenge. He had to stop him somehow. Frizzell was just making up too much ground, and a yellow card for Luke Downs in the 57th minute. Well, Downs is absolutely furious that he's been booked. Yellow card is bad enough. To concede an equaliser would be a lot worse. James Tagg standing over it, all but two Gresley players involved in this attacking move. Tag. Was the far post, and Guest had to get up for it. Maslin Jones struggling, trying to get a space, and charged down by Lewis Guest. Tag again, and tripped by the standing leg that time of Dylan Parker. I'm not sure there's an awful lot he could have done about that. And another free kick, this time certainly in shooting range for the Moatmen. And changes are afoot for the home side. We see a couple of players warming up. But for now, Stephen Hart has got a job to do. Hart standing over it. as is Bradley Maslin-Jones. Four-man wall prepared. Follows at the ready. It looks like it's going to be Maslin-Jones to take it. Hart has handed the honours over to the Gresley number 7. Can he pull his team back into this match? Well, it is going to be Hart. In fact, he had plenty of power on it, but skims over the bar. A curving run-up from Stephen Hart. And a yellow card for Keenan Follows in the follow-up. Not entirely sure what for, but he'll just be glad that a Hart free kick was just that couple of inches too high. That was on target. No goalkeeper in the world is saving a shot that powerful. Well, if Sphinx do find themselves leading in the closing stages, Fallows isn't going to be able to risk too much time wasting as he's now on a yellow. And of course, Sphinx don't have a substitute goalkeeper. Curtis Selly-Hayward not involved in the squad tonight. Neither is Tom Cross. And you start to think that Gresley are getting a bit of confidence, and this is a dangerous time for Sphinx. They've got to wrestle the initiative back. And Martin could do that by finding Cole Kay, just curls away from him to the right and back with Finney. We're into the last half hour. Gresley Rovers 0, Coventry Sphinx 1. Matty Shipman's first half goal is all that separates the two sides as the ball bounces into the main stand here at the Moat Ground. Challenge from Coventry Sphinx in on Maslin-Jones. And here come the changes for Gresley. Two changes for the moment. Caden Forrester is heading on. And we also see the introduction of James Spruce as Dexter Dudley O'Toole, the first player to lead the field. Caden Forrester on in his place. And we know it's James Spruce heading on, who is being withdrawn. It's number 8, that's Lewis Belgrave. Well, actually, it's the number 9 heading off, that's Kane Lee. It said on the board that it was number 8, but it is Kane Lee leaving the field. So the changes again, Spruce and Forrester on, Belgrave and Dudley O'Toole off. And Forrester look to make those changes work in this initial move after the subs break. Tag, trying to find his way through a Cough Sphinx sandwich there, just muscled off the ball, couldn't take the ball with him. It's out for a goal kick as he looked to whip it in from the left. Well, you won't see 15 minutes of added time in this game unless there is a cataclysmic injury in the second half, of course, which we hope doesn't happen, but none of the referee's integral time-wasting calculations will be used today. And also, they haven't paid for VAR either. Fenny thinking about rolling it first time out, but decides against it. Fenny, limited options, has to roll it out to Clark. Lansdowne sees from Zell. Spruce looking for Tag. Challenging by Dylan Parker, who's playing a little bit deeper. Belgrave, first shot strikes the Sphinx man, and Tag has the ball snatched from him just as he's about to pull the trigger from Luke Downs. Jack Downs runs straight into the path of the Sphinx, of the Gresley defender, I should say, that being Cottrell, as he looked to embarked down the right flank. Heading up to the 65th minute. Very tight game it's been so far. Oh, that was a crucial slide in by Guest to prevent it from reaching Belgrave. Across Forrester. Remember goal himself maybe, but it was parried away at the near post by Forrester. Handball claims, referee says no. It's Tad trying to bring it down. Now handball claims against Sphinx. Jack Downs chesting it down and clearing. Gresley feeling there was more to it than a chest. Lansdowne. Spruce to Clark. Maslin Jones receives at this near side. Goes it into the area, was looking for big Stephen Hart, but Guest nods it safely into touch. At the expense of, I believe it's a throw-in. It is a throw, and it's going to be a long one. In across the penalty area, but Callum Woodward calmly clears as the ball drops. Gresley are pushing everyone up. They have to be careful about pushing too many men forward. They don't want to concede on the counter. The cross headed away by Guest. And Kyle Carey takes advantage of the miscontrol from Tag, racing through a congested Gresley back line. It was too congested for him. Lansdowne. Maslin Jones now on the left-hand side, a swap wings with Forrester. Hart sets himself up. Hard across to Forrester. Didn't get the first control rubber. Has got to feet now. Forrester, can he shoot? Forrester still waiting for the chance to strike. Pulls it back and Woodward away. Well, since the substitutions, it's been all Gresley. The Moatmen determined to draw themselves level. Fizel. Lansdowne looking to launch it in from the right. Dings it past Shipman, crossing towards the far post. Whiteside gets his head on it. And the job finished up by Parker. But no one up for Sphinx to attack or to retrieve the ball. Belgrave. Shows that Parker can do no harm. Looks like a change in formation here for Gresley. Looks like they've gone to a five-man back line. Oh, look at that slide challenge in from Joe Percy. Launching himself at Cottrell. Lansdowne. Forrester free on the right-hand side, but unfortunately, that was a ball that not even Peter Crouch on stilts could get his head on. Throwing level with their own penalty area to Coventry Sphinx, who are in no rush to take it. They seem comfortable with the one-goal lead. They're defending it well, but how long can that defence last? Martin. Shipman picks it up after the initial touch by Clark. And he's far. As Lansdowne all the way back to Fallows. Shipman's going to close him down, and Fenny has to play it across to Fizel. There's going to be a Sphinx change coming up here. You have to imagine it's going to be a defensive one. Woodman slides in and deflects the pass of Clark, and Sphinx wanted to take the opportunity to take the substitution to stop Gresley from getting straight back on the offensive, but they weren't quick enough. Clark across the halfway line. It's with Maslin Jones, down stumbles. And Maslin Jones able to avoid his interest from the floor. Tag. Down steps in, gets the ball, and is tripped over in the process. Coventry Sphinx free kick. And a yellow card for James Tag. Substitution to come. Dawid Peblinski is coming on. So Peblinski ready for his league debut. The future pro youngster has come through the ranks at Sphinx Drive and he will replace Dylan Parker. A league debut for young Dawid Peblinski. Cut his teeth in adult football at Coventry United last year. Went from understudy to undroppable. Parker helped off the field, if we can say, from the referee. "20 minutes to go. Gresley Rovers 0. Coventry Sphinx 1. This game perched on a knife edge. And it looks like a change of tack for Sphinx as well, because they have brought on a defender for an attacker. Trying to push mid-air on Jack Downs there. Referee says no. As Cottrell races along the left-hand side and leaves Percy behind, and Luke Downs. Can he get the ball in? Going all the way, but he went too far. It was like Usain Bolt on rocket skis with the pace he had down that left flank, but he couldn't slow himself down in order to get the ball across. Fallows. Did the ball stay in from that kick? Yes, it did, from Clark. Luke Downs slides in, gets a little nick on Belgrave. And of course, Downs is on a yellow card. He has to be careful. Luke Downs is getting possibly a final warning here from the man in black. I would not be surprised to see Downs taken off to protect himself and the side from going down to 11. It's also down to 10, I should say. Crossfield ball to Tag, who almost seems to be fitting in as a left wing back there. Stephen Hart. And the cross put in, and it's a good catch from Fallows. 274, we're being told, is the attendance here at the ground. Strong support for both sides. Fallows high into the night sky. Headed on by Woodward. Carey the target, but onto the head of Frizzell. Back to Woodward, hooks it along the right. Shipman gets there ahead of Frizzell, right in the corner. He's trying to get a decision. Has he got it? No. Final touch coming off Shipman. Right in the corner, throw to Gresley, which they say waste no time in taking. Albert Lansdowne racing up from the back. Now Forrester, the substitute, taking on his fellow sub, Peblinski. Peblinski holds him off, Downs in from the side, but it's away with Lansdowne. Down line, across the midfield. Clark. Sphinx stacking up. Who knows what 3 points could mean at the end of the season. Right side, volleys it upfield. As the Gresley attack comes to nothing, and now Shipman hassling and harrying Frizzell, who stands firm and plays it back to Fenny. Now Clark nearly caught in possession by Kyle Carey, and Carey's not letting him out of his sight, and Clark runs it into touch. Brilliant pressure from Carey. But Shipman's gone down injured. How's the Sphinx number 9 done himself some damage? Right, in terms of attacking changes for Coventry Sphinx, the best one you're looking at is probably going to be either Sam Ellis or Sam Jackson. They could put Kyle Carey as the number 9 and push Max Johnson up there with him. Or potentially Antonio Cristofaro. In fairness, most of the changes that Sphinx have left are attacking players or midfielders. Well, thankfully Shipman is back on his feet and will continue without having to receive treatment from the physio, because I can stay on the field. Throw up line by Martin, headed back where it came from by George Clark, and another throw for Sphinx. Another couple of yards on the throw too. Fingernails at a premium at this late stage. Flick on by Woodward, over a kick by Shipman, trying to return the ball back to Woodward, but Shipman's got it himself. Martin, flag stays down. Callum Martin across. I just needed a touch from Woodward. Flashes across his face. The danger not over as Belgrade trying to dispossess Carey. Through to Woodward, falls to the ground and shepherded out. Frizzell across to Cottrell. Playing a more advanced position in this second half. Now tag. Cottrell across to Lansdowne, also almost playing as an anchoring midfielder now. Clark. Marsden Jones wants it through, but Clark sees the move isn't on. Now Marsden Jones with the path blocked off by Martin. Forced all the way back to Fenny. Sphinx pushing out, trying to close the avenues of approach. 15 minutes to go. Gresley Rovers 0, Coventry Sphinx 1. Don't leave this one early, whatever you do. Lansdowne. Tag back to Lansdowne under pressure. Now Cottrell. Covered up by Jack Downs and Carl Carey. The block is made, and Shipman can try and play it through for Jack Downs, who's on a scoring spree in pre-season. Shipman wants it far post. Jack Downs, Carl Carey with him. Took it too close to Lansdowne. And now Sphinx could be vulnerable at the back. Tag. Cottrell and Stephen Hunt. Too physical and trying to get there ahead of Callum Whiteside. Hand into the shoulder. Free kick to the Sphinx. Guest with the ball at his feet. Just wants to get some distance on this ball. It's towards Shipman. It's over Shipman's head, but Clark gives it straight back to him. Carey, will he go for the corner or will he go for goal? Combination of both. Carey. Cross deflected by Frizzell. Curled along the right touchline by Clark. And the free kick given against Coventry Sphinx there as Callum Martin shoulder to shoulder with Forrester. It was Martin who went down, but it appears that he dragged Forrester down with him. That's what the referee's given it for. Marsden Jones. Misplaced ball to Callum Martin. He hands it back to Frizzell, the captain, in a more defensive zone. And Frizzell looking for a route around Carey, and he's done so. Carey asking, where's my support? Forrester. Eye to eye with Martin, looking for a route around. There isn't one. 1-2 with Marsden Jones, opens it up slightly, but he's forced back towards the halfway line. Now it's with Lansdowne. Cottrell. Now Spruce. Great acceleration now into Hart. His path covered up by several blue shirts. Stephen Hart, high cross. Crucial header away by Callum Martin, and Woodward finishes the job for now. Shielded into touch by George Clark from Kyle Carey. And Gresley are going to take their time here. They need to regroup a little bit. Pablinski's header. Only as far as Spruce heads it into the penalty area. No one home for the Moatman. And Fallows will take his sweet time in picking that one up. Well, Hart's trying to limit the time he could take. Fallows has got the ball in hand now. That's a perfect ball for Carey. Flicked on towards Shipman. Battling with Frizzell, and Shipman's got the ball right in the corner. Matty Shipman finds a way past the captain. Across the penalty area he goes. He's got Downs with him. Jack Downs receives it. He's got Shipman behind. Pirouettes. And again. Now Shipman on the right side of the box. Woodward's in there. He flashes it across the face of goal. Was Shipman going for glory, or was he trying to find his skipper? Only Shipper can say that, but it had plenty of venom on it. Probably had too much for a cross. Spruce. We're going to spruce the Gresley attack up. Now Cottrell. Hart. It's in front of goal, but blue shirt's in front of him. That's not what he wants to see. Hart can control the return ball from Cottrell, and it's cleared as far as Lansdowne. Now Spruce again. Stephen Hart on the turn. Charged down by Whiteside. Cottrell. Lansdowne. Powerful delivery and headed in! James Tagg! Close range! Not in the equaliser for Gresley Rovers. Pinpoint accuracy on the cross, Tagg leaping above the rest. The cleanest of contacts he could have hoped for, and Gresley's pressure has paid off with 10 minutes to go. Sphinx's resolve, their defence is broken. And this game, once again, could go either way at the Moat Ground. Gresley Rovers 1, Coventry Sphinx 1. It's not, look at this, straight back on the attack is Maslin Jones. Martin had to trap that Sphinx and almost playing for a point now. But off balance, the cross put onto the roof of the net. Breathless stuff. Another great advert for the Northern Premier League, and Riley DeVoyle, a former Coventry United captain, is preparing on the bench. Shipman trying to prevent the clearance from Clark. It's curled out. Advantage coming off Shipman. And a slight delay in taking the throw-ins. The ball is returned. Goes over Fabinski. Guest stabs it down. Blocked by Jack Downs on Belgrave onto the roof of the stand. Change will come after this passage of play. In fact, now it's going to happen now. And order's been brandished by Abbott to Lansdowne. Riley DeVoyle heading on, a player I know quite well, and it's Bradley Maslin Jones being replaced. An attacking player for a more conservative one. Leslie still want the 3 points, but they're not willing to lose the point that they have worked so hard to get a share of over the last 20 minutes or so. And now the referee is telling DeVoyle to get off the field again. There's a problem with the tape, I believe. DeVoyle with blue tape on his socks, and it clashes with the blue of the Sphinx socks. The tape's now gone, and we'll get underway again with around 7 minutes of normal time to go. Do not leave your seats. This one is far from over. Downs heads the throw away from the penalty area. Here's Belgrave. Down line with Cottrell. Cross in towards Spruce, headed by Lewis Guest. Downs looks to clear further, but now Tagg. Will he have a crack at a second? Belgrave takes aim. Looking for the top corner, not a million miles away from finding it. Fallows clearance. Headed back to his own defender by Clark. Towards Hart, I should say. Collision between Martin and the ball. Bounces all the way up to Shipman. And no nonsense stuff from Brazil, playing the ball out level with the area. About to enter the final 5 minutes at the Moat Ground. Long throw to come from Joe Percy. Launched in by the fullback, headed across only as far as Luke Downs curls it over into the tree. Via a deflection as well. And we're going to need another match ball. It was Sphinx with their backs to the wall for the majority of this second half. Now Gresley can ill afford to make a mistake. Woodward on set piece duty as always. Towards that far post, punch up by Fenny. Out for another corner. Opposite side. Woodward races across. Ready for delivery number 2 in the space of 30 seconds. 4 minutes left. Gresley Rovers 1, Coventry Sphinx 1. A thrilling evening of football here at the Moat Ground. And we're not done yet. Callum Woodward. Guess it's up there! And for a moment it seemed as it was just ducking beneath the crossbar. Or towards Stephen Hart. He's looked dangerous but hasn't really had the opportunities tonight. Percy slides in on Cottrell and keeps the Moatmen at bay. DeVoyle. Spruce strides away from the challenge, but into a congested midfield. Now Sphinx on the attack. Woodward down the right. Shipman will give chase. Lansdowne has to send it back where it came from. Woodward with a Shipman again. Didn't make the effort to get the ball. Belgrave bundles over Woodward mid-air. Onto the head of Callum Whiteside. Woodward up for it. DeVoyle. Across to Spruce. Movement made by Cottrell along the left-hand side. Headed by Whiteside towards Woodward. Woodward goes to the ground and connects with Spruce while he was on the deck, and the referee gives the free kick for that little trip from Woodward. Well, there are fresh legs on the bench for Coventry Sphinx. We can see Cristofaro just coming back from a warm-up. Are any of them going to be used in the final 2 minutes? And this really is a high-pressure situation for Gresley and Sphinx. No one can afford to make another mistake because it could be the one that costs you a share of the spoils. Tag in. Fallows brings it down. Good catch. And Fallows stays down. May have taken a little bit of a blow to the gut. Well, as it is, the referee is motioning that the time is being added on. Again, Keelan Fallows is Sphinx's only goalkeeper in the squad. If he can't continue, then have to stick an outfield player in there. I don't think it will come to that, and it doesn't. But if it was a ploy at time wasting, it didn't work because the referee motion this time is being added on. Fallows receives the drop ball. Carey up for it. It's over Carey and followed away by Lansdowne. Can Carey get to the seconds? Runs into the back of Tag. The referee says no foul, and rightly so. Tag. Spruce, Cottrell in support. Now DeVoyle, who's almost playing as a left back at the moment. He has played centre back before, but I haven't seen him on the flank before. Carey control right on the touchline. Woodward looking for the run of Shipman. That's the pace of Lansdowne, keeps Coventry Sphinx at bay. 30 seconds of normal time to go. And there'll be a minimum of 6 minutes added time. 6 minutes. That's one thing I love about step 4, they give you the added time. So, you've got 6 minutes to make yourself a hero or play long enough to see yourself become a villain. Gresley piling everyone up. They want to complete the turnaround. Cottrell. Downs got enough on it to find Woodward. Carey tracking back, but his old teammate Devoyle gets there ahead of him. Clark. Forrester, the substitutes. To his fellow sub Spruce. And now the chance to cross for Clark. Pulls it across, no one home. And thumped away by Percy. Shipman. At wrestled by Lansdowne. Lansdowne across. He had to say Gresley looked the more likely at the moment. Here's Spruce. Squares to Belgrave. Urged to shoot. Does. Takes a deflection, takes a spin off it, and doesn't find its way for a crowded penalty area. Spinks happy to just see the ball get away from the box and come back in. Frantic defending from the visitors. Forrester scuffs his cross and Peblinski clears. Shipman not going to make the run. It's back with Fenny. First added minute has gone. 5 minutes left. Frizzell, the captain, across to Riley Devoyle, the former Coventry United captain, against his old club's biggest rivals. His ball was collected by Whiteside, and again, Spinks only concerned with getting the ball away from their box. But the ball's been returned to Jack Downs by the defender. Could it open the door for an unlikely counter from Coventry Sphinx? Downs, swung upfield by Woodward. Kyle Carey's got the pace, but he unfortunately didn't have the pace to reach a rather hefty ball. And now Belgrave's gone down with cramp. And the referee's going to have to stop the game. And again, you can imagine that this time's going to be added on. You can clearly see this isn't a ploy to waste time. Gresley want those 3 points. Belgrave may be forced off here. He's not looking in a good way, and Luke Downs helping him out, lifting up the left leg. Well, Gresley have made their 3 changes. No 5 sub rule this year. It's 3 and you're done. Well, Belgrave is back on his feet. He didn't need the help with the physio, although Luke Downs did give him a helping hand, so he can stay on the field. Well, according to the clock, we've had 2.5 minutes of added time, but a minute of those was wasted with Belgrave on the deck. Onto the head of Downs in midfield. Headed back by Clark. Are we going for another game of head tennis here? Luke Downs on the volley again, as far as Lansdowne. Shipman tried to charge it down, but Lansdowne called his bluff. Across to the left-hand side, where Riley Devoyle is waiting. Cottrell to Devoyle again, his home league debut for the Moatman. Wayward ball to Guest. Luke Downs sends it high into the sky. Who's up for it? Woodward sends it back into the night vision. Swallowed by Woodward on tag, takes it to Callum Martin. And Lansdowne now on the march once more for Gresley. We're halfway through the intended amount of added time. Hart goes down rather easy, I must say, for such a small tap on the back from Guest. Carey thought he had time to think, but he didn't as he looked to embark down the right. Back with Fenny. Good control by Downs. And caught as he got the ball away by Spruce. Yellow card. Right on the edge of the centre circle, Spinks have another chance to whip it in. Every Gresley outfield player in their own half. It's only Hart who's staying relatively close to the halfway line. Woodward, for what would surely be the winner, headed out by Peblinski. Glanced off the head. And Clark getting congratulations, he gets off the deck. 90 seconds of extra time to go. I would imagine there'd be another 30 seconds added onto that for the cramp stoppage for Belgrave. Forrester, covered up by Jack Downs, swiping it by Callum Martin. He didn't get the ball on the first occasion, but the skipper from Forrester allowed to get onto it, but he's now marshalled into touch on the run down the left-hand side by Forrester, right in front of Carl Abbott's technical area. And Abbott giving his lads some encouragement as we enter the last 60 seconds. Lansdowne, Aaron Gunnarsson-esque on that throw. Hart couldn't find the teammate, but the ball from Martin collected in the midfield by Cottrell. DeVoyle, now Frizzell. Is there yet to be a winner in this match? Cottrell's cross across the penalty area and deflected behind by Luke Downs for one last corner. Spinks keeping Carey up just in case. With everyone else, it's battle stations. Gresley keeping two back and DeVoyle in the midfield. Towards Belgrave. Forrester couldn't get to the second. It falls to DeVoyle. Looks to return to Spruce. DeVoyle. Skip past the challenge of Percy. Spruce. And Fallows dives onto it. That should be that. I believe the referee's saying 1 more minute. So he's added on a bit of time for the stoppage for Belgrave. Fallows. It's over Shipman. Frizzell. Can't get the distance behind the header. Shipman's still up for it. Stretching to get something on the ball. Hooked up by Downs. Cottrell. And the referee blows the whistle on a thrilling evening of football at the Moat Ground. And just like the encounter with Quorn on Saturday, a very even match ends with an even scoreline. Plenty to take from this match for both sides in terms of positives. And for the supporters, 90 minutes to savour. But the final score in the pitching in Northern Premier League Midlands here at the Moat Ground. Gresley Rovers 1, Coventry Sphinx 1. Well, I'll have to go and catch my breath after that one, and we've got a week to do so, because unfortunately we're not here on Saturday. No Sphinx action this weekend. But we're back this time next week, Tuesday night, at home to Sporting Council, 7:45 kickoff. Be there if you can at the Sphinx Industrial Supplies Arena. If not, there will be live commentary, as always, here on the Coventry Sphinx YouTube channel. From everyone here at Coventry Sphinx, thank you very much for joining us, and we'll see you next time.